A couple years ago, we stayed at Homestead RV Community in Theodore, Alabama. We met the owner, Ed Bridgman. Now, what we just did is we did a Zoom call. I spoke with Ed, I sat down with him for about an hour. We showed part one of that call last week. This is part two of the same call. I learned quite a bit in part one. I'm sure if you watched that, you did too. This is a follow-up. We get more into RV properties and types of RV communities or types of RV destinations. It's very, very interesting, and in the RV industry as a whole. So hopefully you enjoy part two of our talk with Ed Bridgman.
Now we've actually met a couple RVers who actually purchased either raw land to build an RV destination, or another couple actually purchased RV destination to fix it up. Okay, so with your experience, do you think is this a good investment? Do you think it's there? I guess it depends what type. It gets back to what type of RV destination, doing location and all, but generally speaking, what do you think about that as an investment?
I think the RV industry is a fantastic investment. I don't want to get into a political discussion. It doesn't make any difference to me how you see our November presidential election going. If you think that the economy is going to improve in 2025, then we're going to see more people who want to enjoy that boost in economy and have more RVs as a vacation home, a second home, something that they can travel around and enjoy the country. If you think the economy is going to get worse in 2025, then you're going to see more people purchasing RVs as their only full-time structure that they live in. So it doesn't make any difference either way. The RV industry is growing. It's expanding with younger and more diversified groups. It's a fantastic investment. People are staying in their RV sites longer, so the need for RV sites is growing exponentially. So they sold 346,000 new RVs in 2023. They developed 17,000 new sites. Okay, do the math on that.
Yeah.
Okay, you're introducing 346,000 new RVs. That doesn't include the ones that were already out there, and you're providing 17,000 new sites. I didn't say campgrounds. I didn't say communities. Total number of sites added in America in 2023 is 17,000. Okay.
Wow.
So divide 346 by 17,000, and you see there's just not enough sites. Okay.
Yeah.
They can't build them fast enough. So whether you're starting with raw ground, okay, let's talk about starting with raw ground. You're starting with raw ground, you got to get permits, you got to get engineering, you got to hire EOB-Consulting to do your design, layout, and your feasibility analysis. This is going to take a year probably before you can break ground. It's going to take you another 9 months from breaking ground to finished product. So it's, consider nearly 2 years to go from raw ground to finished product that you can start renting out. By that time, they've introduced another 700,000 new RVs have been sold since you started. Okay?
Time to expand before you even get started.
Yeah, exactly. So if you purchase an existing RV destination, the median age of the current median age of an RV destination in the United States, and the median, let me remind you, I know you already know, but half of them are older, half of them are younger, is 40 years of age. Wow. So imagine this, the median age, most of the RV destinations were built 40 years ago or older. 77% are older than 20 years of age. Okay.
Wow.
So just think back to what RVs looked like at the turn of the century. They were smaller. Okay. They didn't have the electrical draw that these great big guys have now. Okay. With 3 air conditioners sitting up on top, microwave ovens, electric Tesla car in the front. Okay. These RVs today The RV owner today is using an air fryer and a microwave that we didn't have existing 20 years ago. Okay. So the RV destinations of today, 77% of them are older than 20. They aren't designed with 2-lane roads that a millennial who did not grow up on a farm isn't able to maneuver a 42-foot long average fifth wheels, 42-foot long, maneuver that down 1-lane roads and try to back it into a narrow site. So we need larger sites. We need 2-lane roads. We need high-speed internet. I'm sorry, I'm starting to preach. I feel like I'm preaching. Did I answer your question?
I think you did. I think you did. Yeah, I was actually it was actually very interesting. I could just keep on listening. But that does bring up, I don't know if you, I guess you would know, do you see more people getting into, purchasing an RV destination or purchasing the raw land? Because what you just told me, the average destinations, say is 40 years old or something like that. With today's demands, they're going to have to upgrade electricity, most likely sewage, probably the roads. Like I said, they probably can't handle a 42-foot RV, Wi-Fi. So do you see more people getting in, I guess, let's just say purchasing the raw land and starting from scratch, or redoing an existing property?
So an RV destination purchase, whether it's raw land or starting from scratch, is a real estate transaction. And what's always true in real estate is about location, location, location. Okay. So if you have the type of personality that you want to work with resort type people, people who are willing to pay more, but they're expecting more, then that's going to determine your location. And if you are the type of personality that you don't necessarily want to entertain these resort enthusiasts, RV destinations, RV owners, then you want to build a community. And again, the location determines the RV destination type. If you haven't bought the property yet, then your personality, what your dream is, that determines the RV destination type, and then you should go look for the right location. If you purchase an RV destination that's already in existence, that location is defined. Now you have to allow that location to determine the RV destination type.
Makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So the location, the person should identify the location, but sometimes that's, you inherit this land. Sometimes you don't have any choice. Okay, so the land determines, the location of the land determines the RV destination type. The RV destination type determines the type of person, the guest that you're going to attract. The guest that you attract determines the amenities that you are going to be forced to provide. Or maybe you're not forced, nobody's holding a gun to your head, but if you want to maximize the profitability of that location, then you have to build the correct fit for that location. And so the land determines the destination type determines the guest determines the amenities, and the amenities determines your construction cost. If you don't have to build a pool or a kiddie pool or another weight center or fitness center or whatever, then you can reduce your construction cost. But you're building a community and not a resort. So your operating cost is determined. If you're building a resort, you have to have more people helping you. If you're building a community, here at Homestead RV Community, we have 20 acres that we keep mowed like a golf course. We escort every single person to their site. We have a store that's open 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, virtually. We deliver all packages. We deliver all mail. We have 4 bathrooms that add up to 11 toilets. We have jacuzzis, 5 jacuzzis we can deliver to your site, set them up with either hot water or cold water. We maintain all of this with one employee.
Wow.
So everything is virtual. Everything is done online. The store is all online. Everything is built, designed in such a way as to maximize efficiency, which takes me back full circle to has it been 20 minutes? It's taken me back to Six Sigma. Six Sigma is all about efficiency.
So have you noticed then, we were just talking about either purchasing an RV land or destination existing or the land itself. Is there a particular region in the United States that seems to be outperforming some of the other regions?
Yeah, but that's pretty simple to diagnose. California lost 19% of their population last year. There is a mass exodus from the West Coast. A lot of these people are traveling to the Southeast. The Southeast quadrant of the United States is growing rapidly. There are 7 states in the center of the United States, Texas and Nevada, all the way up to Kansas, that federally mandated to reduce their water consumption. Lake Mead is lower than it's been in forever. Even the Mississippi River has less water in it than it used to have. So manufacturing, I used to be an electrical design engineer for Motorola, designing microprocessors. One microprocessor plant, like we had in Austin, Texas, we used as much water as a town of 60,000 people in one plant. So think about microprocessors and electrical, think about steel. Okay, manufacturing steel takes a lot of water. All right, those plants are not going to go into those 7 states that have a federally mandated reduction of water that they're allowed to use. So you got to get on the east side of those 7 states. And then if you go too far north, you're not able to be open 365 days out of the year. You're reduced to 271 days out of the year. But your bills come every month, okay? But you're not open every month, so you're not collecting anything in the cold months. So we see people moving to the southeast.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. Yeah, I always wondered why when we're out west, nobody will ever let us wash our RV, but I think you just answered that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, something I didn't honestly just didn't even think about. So Ed, I know something that we've been seeing as well, not everywhere, but I think we're seeing it more and more. Is a lot of these RV destinations, normally if you're somewhere for more than 30 days, they charge you for electricity and water. We're kind of starting to see a little bit more of that now, mainly with the electricity, even if it's only for one night or for 2 weeks. I think I know why, but you would know better than me. I'm kind of assuming we're starting to see more and more electricity demand or demand on electricity with, electric cars, Teslas, and everything's so much bigger. Are you seeing that as well?
Absolutely. And this trend is relatively new for the mature RV industry, but I'm promising you every single RV destination in the very near future will be charging every guest short-term overnighters and long-term monthlies for electricity. They have no choice. Okay. The average RV on the average day uses about 20 kilowatt hours of electricity in a 24-hour period. But if you take the average RV on a very hot day where the air conditioner is running full blast, or even on a very cold day, it's a myth that RVs only use an excessive amount of electricity in the summertime. In reality, they also use an excessive amount of electricity in the wintertime because people would rather use a space heater than go get their propane tank
Yeah.
filled.
Yeah, we
So
do
they'll
that.
have a space heater, 2 or 3 space heaters going, and they are extremely inefficient. We're seeing larger and larger. We've already talked about it in this segment of fifth wheels, and many of them have washer and dryers in it. A dryer is a electricity buster. Okay, so but people are using microwaves and air fryers, and they're driving electric cars, and they're charging them at the pedestal through the 110 outlet. So you do not have to have a charging station to experience somebody charging their Tesla through your pedestal. So I had a call the other day from somebody who's driving down the road, and he says, I'm pulling a pop-up camper, a small pop-up camper behind my car. Do you have a site for me overnight? And I said, sure, come on in. Our smallest site is 40 foot wide and 82 feet long. Our smallest piece of concrete is 20 foot wide and 70 foot long. We'll take you, no problem. He said, well, my wife is behind me in her car. Will we be able to put all that on one site? I just got through saying every site comes with a flat concrete pad. The smallest one's 20 foot by 70. No problem. Come on in. He pulls up with a pop-up camper, and he's pulling it with a Tesla. And his wife is driving a Tesla. And they plugged 2 cars with dead batteries into my pedestal overnight and used over 150 kilowatt hours of electricity with a pop-up camper.
Wow.
Okay, so just do the math on 150 kilowatt hours times 20 cents a kilowatt hour. They use $30 worth of electricity in a 12-hour period. If you're charging $50 a night for your site and 30 of it is going to electricity, okay, before you have marketing, insurance, and upkeep and maintenance and everything else, you're going to lose money. Okay?
You're paying them to stay on your site.
You're paying them to stay on your site. Okay.
Yeah.
So here at Homestead RV Community, we provide 25 kilowatt hours a day. We're not trying to nickel and dime people. The person who takes the average amount is going to be fine. No problem. This way, we keep our nightly cost, our rental cost at a lower rate. Okay. But if you pull up with electric, an RV with heated floors, okay, if you pull up with your 45-foot fifth wheel that's got 3 air conditioners on top, and I know you have one.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to suck down 75 to 100 kilowatt hours a day. All right. Wow. 100 kilowatt hours a day. I can do that math. That's $20 a day. Okay. So if you're an RV destination owner and you're charging for electricity, and the guy down the street, your competitor, is giving away electricity, then the people who are electric hogs, they're going to go down the street. Okay, let them go. All right. So they go down there and they draw $75 worth of electricity in a 2-night stay, where he's charging $100 for that 2-night stay. He's going to go out of business.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not going to have a competitor. Okay. So one of the first questions that I get asked a lot is, how is that going over? Because it's still not the norm that people pay for electricity. The people who have heated floors, great big 45-foot long Class A motor coaches with heated floors, they don't care. All right.
Yeah.
If you charge them another $10 a night, they don't care. All right. The people who appreciate it are the people who are using the average or less, because you're keeping their nightly rate at a reasonable rate. And then you're charging those people who pull up with a Tesla and 3 air conditioners and the electric hogs. And and that's they should pay. Okay.
So yeah, the little guy's not subsidizing the big guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly the point. And here at Homestead RV Community, we have automated it. We were not the first to start charging for electricity, but we were the first to do it automatically. When you check in, your electric meter is automatically read. Your water meter is also read, but our water is really inexpensive and we don't care too much. But you can come here and wash your RV. We won't have a problem with that. But your electric meter is read when you check in. When you check out the very next day, the week, month, whatever, when your bill is due, your electric meter is automatically read again. The little number is subtracted from the big number, and then we go to our reservation software automatically. It tells us how many days you were here. We discount you 25 kilowatt hours per day. If you exceeded that, then you're automatically charged 20 cents a kilowatt hour. What I did was I took a variable expense, electricity, and I made it a fixed cost. I'm going to pay the first $5 a day, 25 kilowatt hours times 20 cents. The guest is going to be paying for the rest of it. Now I can keep my base rate. Now I can manage my budget. Now I know how much insurance is and everything, and I can tell you how much my nightly rate should be, my weekly rate should be, because I don't have this electrical fluctuation.
I think once people, if they watch this and understand what you just said, I think they would probably appreciate it, especially the smaller guy, right? The guy in the pop-up, because again, he's not subsidizing the big guy, so the rates are a little bit lower for him. So I know we talked a lot about the industry, the people getting in industry, the types of RVs, even purchasing land or purchasing an existing RV destination. So how does EOB Consulting, how would they fit into that big picture?
So the majority of my clients will contact me and say, I want to get into the RV industry and I've inherited this piece of land, or this piece of land has been in our family and it's been a pasture for a while, or I have a piece of property that I want to buy, and for free I will take 30 minutes and I will use Google Earth and I will do a high level feasibility analysis, competitive analysis, to give them an idea of the type of RV destination would fit that location. And we have a conversation over the phone that usually extends to an hour, but that doesn't cost anything. And at the end of that hour, they know the type of RV destination type that will fit that property, and they understand the industry better. I give them a lot of materials to review. Then what happens next is they put that piece of property under contract, and they have 60 days to do their due diligence. So we come out during that period, early in that period, we travel to their location, we walk the property with them, we develop an understanding of their vision for this property. This is where they think the pool should maybe go. They want to keep this tree. They like this, and this, and we keep our mouth shut, believe it or not, and we try to understand how they want to move forward, whether it's an existing property or a raw piece of property. What do they like and what do they want to upgrade or change? Then we come back to Alabama, where we have dedicated CAD engineers. CAD is computer aided design engineers. When you are searching for an RV consultant, make certain you ask them if their CAD engineers are full-time employees or if they're just hiring somebody off the internet, because you have to train them each time. All right.
Yeah.
My guys, they know exactly, if we're building a resort, they know what that means. They know the amenities that's going to be in a resort. They know the size of the ideal RV site for a resort. If we're building a community, it's a different design. Okay. It's a different amenity package. and the size of the sites will be different for a community or a campground or a park than it would be for a resort. So I don't have to retrain my guys every time. Once we come up with a design that the client and I and my CAD engineer all agree is the best fit to maximize the value of that property, then we go further into an Excel spreadsheet. We come up with the construction cost. We work with the client to determine what the construction cost is going to be. We've already done a competitive analysis, so we know what their revenue stream is going to be. We know what their occupancy rate is going to be. We know what they're going to charge. We put all this into a 8 or 9 page, I can't even remember, I think it's 9-page long Excel spreadsheet that shows them how much money they're going to need, how much money they're going to get, what their risk is, what their internal rate of return is, what their NOI is. It all is spelled out for them. They get the CAD engineer, they get the CAD engineer design, they take that to their civil engineer to get their permit from their local civil engineer. They take the feasibility analysis to their investor, whether it's a private investor or a public bank. And oftentimes then they'll call me from the bank and they'll say, we're in a meeting and the banker wants to know, where did I get these numbers? And how do I know this is what the construction cost is going to be? And how do I know this is what my revenue is going to be? And once I explain that I do about 30 of these a year, in doing them, I go around to all the competitors and around that location. Usually it's 15 to 20. So I do approximately 600. I physically walk on about 600 sites a year.
Wow.
Plus, I have my own homestead RV community where I physically write the checks myself. So I know exactly what your costs are going to be. I can estimate them very easily and very precisely. And the banker sits back and goes, okay, fine. I know where you got the numbers. Okay. That's, we're going to take your numbers. All right. And so I help you get your loan. I help bring credibility to getting the money from either the private investor or the public investor to be able to make your dream a reality. I provide the CAD engineer design to your civil engineer that I'll reduce your costs for that civil engineer probably by enough money to pay for my entire consulting fee, because they're going to get a CAD design that they have to do very little to adjust to be able to submit it for a permit.
Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. I'm sure there's so much stuff in there that the average person wouldn't even know to ask. So
exactly.
Yeah. So you don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
So
that's why you hire a consultant.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, do you have a website, EOB Consultant website, or?
It's EOB-Consulting.com. That you don't spell out the dash. It's the line halfway up between the B and the C. It's not the underscore. It's EOB-Consulting.com. Is the best way to get a hold of me is EOB@EOB-Consulting.com. That's one way to get a hold of me. Another way to get a hold of me is just to phone me at 512-785-1379. If you're interested in looking at the most technologically advanced RV destination in the world, you can go to homervc.com, and I invite you to come to Homestead RV Community and take a tour. I'll show you the latest innovations. Homestead is not only a profit center where we rent sites, but it's also my marketing tool where people come and tour. And third, it's also where I beta test the latest technology. Today, I installed a water meter in one of my pedestals for a new company that's coming out with water meters. This way, I test both hardware and software for the entire RV industry, and I can recommend what is best for my clients because I've used it myself.
And we can actually vouch for that when we stayed there, because we did the tour and we walked around with you a little bit, and you're telling the truth.
Thank you. I liked it.
We do appreciate it. Ed, thank you so much for your time. I think we're going to wrap it up here, and hopefully next time we're in the Theodore, Alabama area, we'll stop by and see you again.
We would love to have you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, I know I learned a lot over these last couple of weeks. Between part 1 and part 2, I learned quite a bit about RVing, the types of people who are RVing now, what they're doing, how they're RVing, and actually where they're RVing. So it was very, very interesting call. Hopefully you learned something as well. Remember, always live life to the fullest.